First World War, shell shock, and that's where the term hysterical paralysis come from, because obviously, you know, the horrendous conditions they went through there, but it's usually shock. With this gentleman, he found his wife.
Well, that's why I tried to that one through. So then he got removed then, and I just couldn't speak for ages. I couldn't remember it. Funny tell.
Yeah. This particular guy found was so in love with his wife that he found her.
Could hypnotherapy help that?
Mark?
Could he be helped by having
Yes.
hypnotherapy?
There's quite a lot of research coming out now with people who've had strokes, and what they do is they use a mirror technique. So imagine you've got this hand won't work, but this one does. Because they put a mirror there, when you move this hand, you see this one move at the same time?
Where'd you put the mirror?
It's some weird device that goes across, so it reverses the image and it looks like this paralysed hand is working. And if you repeat the exercise 3 or 4 times a day for so long, it rewires the neural pathway in the brain, and they're making amazing results in getting total strokes almost reversed. So it's just doing that. So that's kind of an LP technique. But yes, it was the same with Hitler actually. There was an article in the press a couple of weeks ago where Hitler after the First World War came out and he had hysterical blindness. And he went to a hypnotist who did a load of work with him. And then when this guy realised Hitler had been put the power out and he did this, hypnotist killed himself. Thinking I shouldn't work with this guy.
Yeah. Did anybody have any comments or questions about what we've said tonight?
It was gas in the First World War as well with Hitler, so they initially was critically diagnosed.
It was diagnosed as hysterical.
What's the difference between self-hypnosis and meditation?
Well, I'm not an expert on hypnosis, even though I have trained in it years ago. I don't use it. Well, I don't know. I mean, meditation.
Well, meditation's kind of there to clear your mind, where hypnosis is there to change your mind. Self-hypnosis is really there so that you can learn to do that yourself. So you control that, where a hypnotist would do that for you.
I'll tell you what I think meditation is as well. I think it's going within to the work where the real you is, and you spend time with the real you. And you can do that. With practice, it gets very easy. Now, the more you do it, the easier it becomes, and you can do it when you're anywhere, talking to somebody, or you can just sort of. But you've got to have relaxed alertness, which is, you've got to be able to notice danger. It's all to do with cycles per second of the brain. 7 to 14 cycles per second is relaxed alertness. When you're relaxed, but you know what's going on. And that's what I think meditation should be, as low down to about 7 as you can get. And above 14, it's stress state. And something like 80% of adults are in stress state, over 14. And kids, about a very high percentage of kids are in alpha rhythm, which is 7 to 14. And some are in stress state. So I think for self-preservation, you need to practice being in this relaxed alertness state, or alpha rhythm, or 7 to 14 cycles per second, because stress state is very wearing on the body, and it can wear things out, Yes, yeah. So the more you practice, wherever you are, on a bus or walking along, try and go into, how would you recognize it? Right. However you go into a meditative state, you can do it you can usually focusing on one thing, like a candle or something, putting your focal point of attention to one thing. What I say to people when I'm doing crystal healing, I said, put your attention to your center of gravity, which is around the navel, slightly below. If you were a seesaw, you would rock from there. So I say, just put your attention there. So the very fact that you're going down helps, because it's good to be grounded. Just put your attention there. And I say that's where the real you is. Spend time with the real you and let that real you expand and come to the surface. And that real you is healthy and fit and well and beautiful and whatever else you want to say. You can do that anywhere. And it becomes a habit. So, because then you begin to realise how stress state is wearing and makes you tired and feel ill and everything. And you think, well, this is no good because I'm not really doing my best, whatever it is I should be doing. When you're in a stress state, you know, you think you're doing things right, but you're not. You're charging around, banging into, I know very well, you're banging into things, you're falling over, you're dropping things. So it's no good.
You're not in alignment, like.
Sorry?
You're not in alignment.
No. Well, it's very easy not to be in alignment, isn't it?
Scrambled.
Yeah, when you've got lots of things happening and you've got to meet deadlines and somebody else is saying do this and
But the functioning goes down, doesn't
yes.
it? You know, the more scrambled we are.
Yeah. But we should practice this all the time, not just going to a meditation group. It's lovely when you go to a meditation group. It's wonderful because you get this synergistic effect, which is it's not just a sum total of all this relaxedness, it's greater than that. And people say it's much easier to relax. I once went on a weekend thing, and you got up really early and you went and meditated all together. It was ridiculous, really. And I thought, right, I'm going to keep this up when I go home, getting up at 4 or 5 o'clock. And I went downstairs and you're just meditating on your own, and it's not the same. Meditating on your own as with a group. You get this lovely effect. But just when you're able to relax, just put your attention to your centre of gravity and realise that the real you's there, and the real you is fine and healthy and balanced and clever and everything. And just be there. And then you get convinced, even though you still get into stress states when you've got too many demands.
So what happened there, Casey?
I don't know, it just...
What happened when he was doing the readings, he became so popular and the demand was so great that even though initially when he first started, he said, I'm only going to do 2 readings, 45 minutes a day. He had so many requests that he was actually doing more. I'm not sure if I read it was either 6 or 7.
Well, I do remember this bit. He was told by his inner guide, whatever, only to do 3 a day. But he was doing 27. As many as that. Because of the demands, it couldn't say no.
It's a long time to be in trance.
It is. I suppose it came in and out, But I've known many, many cases of very talented people like this. I've known them personally, who work themselves to death with this because they think it's a gift and they're working for God and they can't say no. And I don't know if anybody remembers this one. It was called Dr. Romano, and he had a room over a shop in Forest Hall. Had anybody heard of him? Right, this is quite a few years ago. And he was Tom Lawry, who was an ex-miner, who lived in West or East Hertford, I never know which is which. And he went into a trance state and became this Dr. Romano, who was a doctor in Edinburgh, and the records are there of this guy. And Tom went into this trance state and he looked different, and I sent my husband to him actually. I didn't go with him because he had a bad back or something, and I didn't tell him that he was a trance doctor or anything. I just said, go and see Dr. Romano, you go there. So he went and he had worked on his back, and when he came back I said, well, what did you think? He said, oh, fine. I said, no, Graham, he's not really a doctor, he's actually a medium in trance. No, he's not. He was a doctor. He wouldn't have it that he wasn't a doctor. But anyway, he worked himself to death he because he used to work from like lunchtime till 2 in the morning at this place. He had various people helping him. Then when he went home, he couldn't sleep, and he died in his 50s, and he was a tremendous mess. And there's been a lot of others like this who
The hardest things for a medium to learn is to see more.
yes, and obviously that happened to Casey then, didn't it? If it's 27 a day.
During the readings, you say you've been too many.
I mean, I've asked actually when people have been like this, and I said, well, why do you let them do it? And they say things like, well, they're only coming home to us, there's no great shakes, then you're going to die. It's not anything big to them, you see.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're here to live a life on earth. This is what you've got to remember. Primarily, you're here to live a life on earth.
Hard to get the balance. But
Yeah, but you've got to keep telling yourself it's your life on earth that's important. And if Edgar Cayce had been told that earlier on, it might have made a difference, because he was worried that he had this psychic stuff going on as a child. And if he had somebody who was aware of this around him, they could have said, now look, you know, you have got this psychic gift, but you're here primarily to live a life on earth. You know, just put it to one side and use it at certain times. Switch it on and switch it off. Don't have it going on all the time, that's important. Not to have the psychic stuff going on all the time.
absolutely. You can have your working 24/7.
Oh yes, yes, that's what
Why
happened.
is the life here on earth so important, do you think?
Sorry?
Why is it so important to the life on earth? You know, our life
Because
on earth?
because
Just in your opinion.
you've chosen to come here to live on earth, right? You've chosen. This is the planet of choice. And as long as you make a choice, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. But you learn from making choices. And this enables the spirit to evolve and progress and whatnot by learning to make choices. So you've got to be aware that you're an earth being and appreciate being on earth. You chose to come, you chose.
And is it like
You can stay over there. And,
Is it a journey of discovering maybe why you made that choice?
yes, yes,
What, you know,
yes,
why?
yes. Well, then I suppose this Edgar Cayce would come, because he would talk about that, why they'd made the choice and why they had the health problems now because of what went on in previous lives, you know.
When you refer to people have a psychic etc. and put too many hours in to give that advice out, or if it's the other way around, and something's happening in someone's life, doesn't know where to take to.
Right, well, you've got places like the Vault, and which Chris organised these places where people can go for readings, and you might hit lucky and find a good one who can talk about that. I think this is what the Vault is for people to have access to people who can help in situations like that.
I think it's, for me, it relates to, it's very similar to the Cayce experiences.
Right.
Which makes us interested in. There's not a lot of it, just a little bit, but I feel the message is being important.
The message is for you. Pardon?
Doesn't know what to give the message to, or...
Oh, for you.
Write it down.
No, I know, I'm telling you off the top of my head, I didn't see it. But when I read Casey's work, I've seen similarities.
All right. So do you think you could do stuff like that?
I don't know. I've got no idea, but I know that I was afraid when I was a kid. So if anything went too far, I got afraid. So I think because of that, and sometimes when I'm in a relaxed sleep, in the beginnings of sleep, things happen. And so I'll tell you one, for example, which I found very interesting, but I think it's a message for something in my life and everyone's life, but I don't know what it means.
Right.
I call them my real dreams, they're not ordinary dreams. I was going along an ordinary road, which is near St. Nicholas's Hospital, the next street down, walking towards Fordham Metro in my dream, and I see a young girl, about 16, really depressed. I knew immediately Laura was really depressed.
Mhm.
So I tried to get inside her,
Mhm.
but I couldn't. And something told us it's because she's too young.
Mhm.
And then the young lad was walking past us and the same thing. And I knew I had to go in by the elbow. I had to go in at that point to find out what was wrong with this person. And I managed it, and I got inside, and then I was sort of him, if you like. So I put everything he thought was my thoughts. So I knew why he was depressed, I knew why he felt like suicidal.
Mhm.
And I talked him round, which is a bit longer a conversation, and I went along to the next guy. And I couldn't work, I got inside and it took ages because I had to hit the elbow the right way to get inside.
Do you think you need to get inside them, do you, to get the information?
Yeah.
Now,
So
you can
I went
actually...
along with him in the last bit, he was the third and last person, and he was going to the metro, and I was thinking, why am I with this person, and I wasn't quite getting it.
Mm.
And then I realised when the train company was going to jump,
All right.
and so I was immediately out alarm, and it says if there's a fire goes off and somebody, if in real life you would automatically do things quickly, and so I said, how can I save this guy? And I just knew I had to turn around his thought pattern and give him positive thoughts. And I did, he stopped just before, and he said to himself, but I was still there inside, and he said, why on earth was I going to do that?
Mm.
What come over me? I can't
Mm.
ever let myself go as low again.
Mhm.
And that's where the dream ended. I
Mhm.
just find that so odd, strange.
Right. Right.
There's no such thing as odd or weird, it's just a concept that people haven't understood yet.
Oh, that's right. I know that.
That's right, yes.
And normal is
I
just
put it down as a normal dream.
normal is just a label society puts on it to define the average. And you're a rescuer. That's what you are.
But you
You're a
need to work on your own terms.
Yeah.
This is what it's all about. You
Yeah.
don't just do whatever you're pushed to do. You say, right, it's got to be on my terms because I'm a human being and I do it on my terms. And I'm not sure about getting right inside. One of the things...
That's not the first thing that's happened, that's just one
Yeah.
that I thought was...
Right, sending help to people,
Sorry?
sending help to people, right, when, you know, you sense that these people need help. The power of unconditional love is the greatest help you can do. And you can just sending unconditional love, meaning you want the best thing for that person, not necessarily a possessive love. It's wanting the right thing for that person.
It's the power of intention.
Yeah.
itself.
And the other thing is, because you can get so worn out with this work, you say, I work on my terms, which is you work the time, you say the times you can do it, you switch it on and switch it off. So it doesn't become uncontrolled. It's you're walking along and it takes you over. No, that's not allowed. You've got to do it in your time and when you say. Else they just have you working all the time, and that's no good. Wear you out.
I just don't know what direction that sort of thing...
Well, ask.
I have, and I'm not...
Right.
And even down to having surgery, I was in surgery, minor surgery,
Mm.
and as I was coming around,
Mm.
I can't recall, I would like if I said what I said,
Mm.
but all I recall is the staff were in the corner.
Mm.
He'd been doing some training, so the surgeon was basically saying something along the lines of, so this is what we're doing with the patient, and what did I do there? And we have to repeat. One got it wrong, and I just saw it and said, don't do like that, so you do it.
Mm.
And I said what it was, and I
Mm.
come out of surgery chuckling at myself, because I just thought, where did that come from?
Have you been in a meditation group?
I find meditation very hard, I can't do it alone at all.
Oh, well, that's what I mean. Have you done it in a group with people?
With the other week we did the past life regression.
Mm. Mm.
Really,
Mm. It might be an idea for you.
no.
Yeah, it's often good to have a bit of guidance for everybody.
I think everything that's happened always when I'm in some form of meditative state, it's been very serious like that. And even worse, but I won't go into a lot of it's like
Mm.
private stuff like that.
But I think
Seen
it's like
someone
that.
who passed over but wasn't going, was stuck.
It would be good for you to get into a good meditation group.
It's the thing that the information you get from your dreams is totally different from your true life, what you do. As in
Well,
everyday
the person that had passed over wasn't finding their way. So that was something very unusual and strange that had happened before that, you know, we die once, we can't change that. But I can't really, there's nothing, all of the odd things I'm telling you are not like normal dreams. Just things that happen.
Does it differ? Does it differ in the sense of that you would like to be able to facilitate that in true life?
I would, but I wouldn't like to do it, say, through a church, for example. It's not, I don't think it's for me to go through a church and do something. If people in this group said, I would like to study Edgar Cayce, I would be quite happy to do that.
You'd like to what, sorry?
Study the
All
book
right.
Edgar Cayce.
Yeah, the study groups are very good
That's really
doing that
lovely, and you can
process.
incorporate that.
Yeah,
Bits of that sort of seem to be strands of what he talked about.
yes.
I've got some empathy, if you like.
I found people found it very helpful doing the study group work. Then you have an assignment. There's a list of assignments somewhere. Have you got? Is that the program?
This is the thing.
The list, and you choose an assignment, and there's actually a book called.
That's in dreams, but that's what it was.
Yeah, there's a book called. What's it called? This study book? Search for God. That's it. It's called Search for God, and you read a little bit out of that, and you can make up your own assignment. So everybody has this assignment to do. They do think about it a little bit during the week, and then they come back and report on it. And that's really helpful, actually. And you can compare notes.
Well, I was looking up, because I've gone back to Cayce again. I've got dozens of his books when I first started spiritual work with crystal healing. So I've sort of revisiting some stuff. And I think on YouTube, if you've got access to YouTube, there is some good YouTube. And I think ERA do one of Cayce and Dreams, Know Your Dreams.
Right.
That might be helpful.
And we done one in the group work, and it might have been the ERA last week I watched it. And I knew it was coming, I just thought, start reading it a bit more, because I sort of forgot stuff. And it was in a group, and they give everyone a piece of A4 paper in the audience and said, do it in sets of 4 or something, or 6 people, and write down what you really want to do, what you really foresee yourself doing, and write one word. Then you had to fold the paper in 4, and then you had to pass it round so everyone didn't know who had what. And then the other person had to sort of feel the paper, feel its vibration. This was all come from Cayce's workflow, and they all got what the word was inside.
Yeah. Vast work, vast. Yeah.
It was really good watching.
And what was the name of that?
It was one of the ERA ones, I think, on YouTube. It was a lecture. It was maybe in the university, or it might have been in the halls like Durham.
At Durham.
If you give us your email before you leave, I'll send you it.
No, it's a big loss that we haven't got John doing all this work now.
Sounds absolutely amazing.
It was very fortunate to have met him. But he was quite a lot older than me, so I suppose he had to die at something like Cayce. Cayce was about 77, was he, when he died? It was so 44, so early 70s, you know. But he obviously, he did, one of the things is overworking and not having a life-work balance. You've really got to have your work-life balance. And then you've got to concentrate on being, that you don't get into a stress state too often. You know, sometimes you have to when you've got to rise to the occasion and charge off or something. Stress states on a Wednesday at our bakery. trying to catch the deadline for the courier. Oh.
You mentioned the oak,
The
past the barrel.
yes.
before. Do you have them in your?
No, I don't. I just get them specially in for people. The
Oh,
charred oak keg, isn't
charred
it?
oak
There's a
Really
few
very
appliances.
good.
There's the
But you
Radiac.
If you look at Sandra's site, which is food, if you search for food for thought, seeking indelible, you've got a ton of the Cayce remedies there.
Yes, we've got a lot.
Yeah, very couple and just certain things I thought.
I have sent them out when people have died or something. We sometimes get them, and then we send them off to people at a lower price. You know, I've never used it. There's a lot of gadgets they've got. Have you ever looked at the gadgets? The impedance device is an odd one. I don't even know how it works. You can use all the Cayce remedies and things, and they're great. But that was, 1940s and 30s and probably 20s. And we have got a lot more things now than they had then. He was using what they had available at that time, which was a lot of castor oil. And he made all these mixtures. He gave the recipe for various mixtures. But we've got more stuff, like we've got colloidal silver. But still, he was using colloidal gold, wasn't he?
See what I've seen though is that there is new techniques and new things to use, yes, for those.
There is.
But the castor oil, for example, has never been scientifically tested, so no one really knows what it aids. And if you look back to the 50s, 60s, we're using zinc and castor oil now.
That's right.
And that was doing wonders on babies and
Yes.
whatever else.
Its Latin name is Palma Christi,
Yes.
which is Hand of Christ. And, pardon?
No, sorry, I was
Yeah.
Just intrigued by it.
yeah.
You can use it for so many things. How I got into it before I was into this, really, I had very stingy eyes. And I just happened to be telling this old lady from Ashington, oh, I've really got these stingy eyes. And she said, oh, just put castor oil in. So I went and bought some castor oil because you could buy it at the chemist then, and you can't really buy it so easily now. We sell it. And she said, just put it in your eye. And I did, and I got instant relief. Instant.
You can't buy it from books because they stopped selling it because people were using it for stomach complaints.
Well, I used it for pregnancy as well.
Well, that's what they use it for in America. Well, we sell it quite easily, no problem. We don't have any restrictions. You can buy it. Yeah, you can buy it. You're going to use it for what?
Dog soap.
Sorry, what was it?
Dog soap, you make soap.
Oh, dog soap. Well, we sell it, no problem. John Walsh used to buy it in great big things, and I used to help him bottle it. And then when I took it over, I was still doing the same. And then some regulations came in that you had to be a packing station for packing anything like that. So we just buy it in with our name on it. And I made sure it's the same castor oil that I was using before. They use it from the same source, cold press.
What's actually made out of castor oil?
Well, it's from it's like, you get negative and positive, or yin and yang of everything. Ricin is made from castor oil plant.
Yeah.
And so you get the opposite.
It's quite dangerous.
Yes. But,
Is there a castor plant? Is that what you mean?
sorry?
Yeah.
Is there a castor
Is there a
plant?
Oh, yeah.
You've seen it, it's never really used in England, but my mother's from like a farming family in the Brazil in 6. She says when she was a kid, any type of ailment at all, her mother had
Yes,
castor
I
oil.
know.
So
Well, the
I don't
farming
know if
people have got
that's,
the old
it's a
knowledge. They've got the old...
thing, but,
No, the farming people do tend to have more of the old
She
knowledge.
said it tasted disgusting, but
Yeah.
any type of thing that was wrong with it, castor oil, mother had
Yeah.
castor oil out.
If you look at Casey's work, it's something like, because everything, when you said it was numbered, they looked at the numbers of how many remedies with castor oil included, or something like 679.
Was it really?
Yeah, so that's looked at it like that, and that's how people have extended it in their book, so that if
sort of looked at 5 remedies, etc. And just started to read them, but it's extremely interesting. Yeah.
Sorry? Yeah, but you got to use it carefully. People tend to overuse things. Like my grandson, when he was a baby, he had constipation, and his other grandma took him to the doctors to got antibiotics or something. And I said to my daughter, just give him a little bit of castor oil. She gave him half a teaspoon, and it sorted it out forever. Never came back.
But you use it as packs as well, don't you?
Yes, it's very good. It's magic for packs.
It's really interesting.
Sorry?
Christiane Northrup. Have you heard of Christiane Northrup? She's an American woman. She's amazing. But she's really into using it for, any kind of, like, as packs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, you don't overdo it.
What do you mean, a pack? Sorry.
Well, I'll tell you what a pack is. Like, for instance, if you've got a sore knee, which I used to have, whatever reason, I don't know. And so you sort it out with a castor oil pack. So you make a pad the shape of your knee out of a piece of tea towel, something cotton, or a piece of t-shirt, something cotton anyway. You make it a few layers. So you soak it in castor oil and put it on, then you put cling film around it. Because it keeps in place and it keeps the castor oil from going everywhere. And you can't really walk around in it because it'll fall off. So you put it on at nights. And that sorts any knee out or elbow. Well, I don't know.
She's like a gynecologist and stuff like that. She's a medical background. But she's really into everything. She talks a lot about, like, for, room or...
Over the tummy.
Or even,
Well,
like,
it's very...
digestive system and
Yes.
everything, and with using heat as well.
Yes.
To lie down for an hour with...
I've never found heat necessary. I get it, but if you're putting it on the abdomen, you can overdo it. So it's only 3 nights on and 3 nights off. You don't put it on.
An hour, I think,
Yeah.
actually.
Oh, really? An
Lie
hour?
down for an hour.
Yeah. But it works for lots of illnesses when you put it on the abdomen.
Because the oil pulls the toxins out.
Yeah. I've asked loads of people, how does it work? And they all say it pulls out what shouldn't be there, but that's the most scientific thing they can
Well, it's the
say.
same as oil pulling.
Oil pulling.
You're involved in oil pulling, haven't you? Oil pulling. It's
But
where you
using
put oil in
coconut
your mouth
oil.
and you rinse it for 10 minutes. And it pulls all the bacteria and the toxins out of your gums and your teeth. And then you spit it out.
What sort of oil are you thinking of?
Coconut
Coconut oil, yeah.
Use castor or any vegetable oil.
So you just spill the oil around your mouth without telling the...
Yeah. Yeah.
People use it instead of, it was used
Oh, I
to
think you
taste
do.
it.
I think it's
What's the time, Gary? Have you got your watch on? Can't see that.
Bounce on your breath. I have read
9.
just remembered. And you actually swallow a tablespoon full of oil in that puts a lining on your stomach and stops things from getting wrong.
I think a tablespoon's a bit much.
Use castor or coconut. Also used to use it in the ears, didn't you, when you got an ear infection? The oil pulls the infection out.
It's magic stuff.
I'll have to come to you about my surprises.
Right, there is a way, but it's a difficult one. There's only one. That was this is a Casey one.
It would be.
Right, I had a guy come to me and he was dragged by his wife. He didn't want to come and see me, and he had all over his body. It was horrendous. So I said, there's only one cure, and it's an Edgar Cayce remedy, and here's the book. You can borrow the book, and it's just eating in a certain way. And it did work. And